right, our book for today is Odd Velvet by Mary E. Whitcomb and illustrated by Tara Callahan King. She's really pushing me off of this thing. Hannah, sweet Hannah, give me just a bit of room. Oh, it's hurt my back. She does not care at all. On the first day of school, Velvet's classmates brought their teacher cinnamon tea, lace handkerchiefs, and heart-shaped boxes of potpourri. Velvet handed her teacher an egg carton filled with 7 rocks, her favorite red shoelaces, and half a sparrow's egg. Velvet was odd. I think I'm going to kind of like Velvet. At lunchtime, Velvet not only carried a used brown paper bag, but inside of it were things like carrots and a butter sandwich. And she ate them. At recess, a few of the girls noticed that Velvet was not wearing a new dress, even though it was the beginning of the school year. Where did she come from? They wondered out loud. Is that very nice? I don't think that's very nice. All of this strangeness did not stop after the first day of school. In fact, it got worse. Velvet brought in a milkweed pod for show and tell. Luckily, 3 other girls brought in a talking doll, a wedding doll, and a crying doll, and saved the day. Velvet's nose was freckled, and she had a pack of only 8 crayons, and her sweater once belonged to her older sister. Nothing was right about Odd Velvet. Although everyone was polite to her, no one was silly enough to pick Velvet for partner play or to walk home with her after school. No one wanted to be different the way Velvet was different. I don't know. I like Velvet. And I'm kind of upset that they don't. On the day of the school field trip, the children were laughing and calling each other by their nicknames. Someone called out, "What's your nickname, Velvet?" It got quiet as Velvet looked around. "I don't have one," she said, "but my father told me that on the day I was born, the sun was just rising over the mountains, and outside it looked as though the world had been covered with a blanket of smooth, soft lavender velvet." I love that. A few of the boys let out a giggle, but mostly the bus felt quiet. For a moment, everyone was thinking of how beautiful that morning must have been, the day Velvet was born. See that blanket of lavender velvet? The following week, a school drawing contest was announced. There was no question who the winner would be. Sarah Garvey had the best markers, the best paint set, and more colored pencil than anyone else in the class. When the day arrived to announce the winner, the children let Sarah sit right up front. No one was more surprised than she was when the teacher called out Velvet's name. Velvet had drawn an apple. "It's just a piece of fruit," Sarah protested. Everyone stared at the picture. "It looks so real I would like to eat it," someone said. "It seems like you could pick it up," another child added. Sure enough, with just her 8 crayons, Velvet had drawn the most beautiful apple the children had ever seen. Little by little, the things that Velvet said and the things that Velvet did began to make sense. The teacher had Velvet speak for 2 whole days about her rock collection. She even had ashes from a real volcano. Still, on the day she handed out invitations to her birthday party, the whispering began. I bet her house is old and dark, Sarah said. Okay, Sarah, we get it. The thought of going to Velvet's house made everyone feel a little uneasy. Velvet lived in a tiny house at the end of a long road. There was no jungle gym or tetherball, just a tall swing hanging from a big old tree. At the door, Velvet's mom and dad politely asked the children in. There were no birthday magicians or wizards, not even a clown. But they got to turn Velvet's room into a castle. The royal subjects painted their faces and put glitter in their hair. They jumped high off the bed into a blue blanket moat. Velvet's sister made each of them golden crowns with colored jewels. They took turns wearing Velvet's royal cloak, which used to be a bed cover. They played cards and shot marbles. Velvet even showed them how to draw beautiful apples. On the last day of school, Velvet's classmates brought their teacher handfuls of flowers, cards they had made, and an impressive collection of nice-looking rocks. Velvet was different, but maybe she wasn't so odd after all. Love this book. Really teaches us that some of the simplest things are the most enjoyable. So we don't need all of the fancy colored pencils, and we certainly don't need a clown at a birthday party. But making a castle, a pillow fort, using a blanket as a royal robe, it's all in our imagination. It's all about what you do with what you have, not about what you have. Remember that. Love me some Odd Velvet. And even Sarah turned around at the end.